Yo, what's good, family? What's good, family? It's your boy, Pastor Ray, aka the R&B Pastor. Listen, this is the Well Encounter, and we are live on this here May the 23rd, 2024. What is the Well? It is a creative arts conscious awareness faith community. Everybody say community. If you're on live, drop in the chat community. That's right, because we want you to be a part of our community, of your community, of this community, because hashtag the Well is you. All right, that's our hashtag. So if you're watching this or if you're doing anything with us, make sure to put that hashtag whenever you copy us. And if you're watching with us on our encounter, then go ahead and copy this and paste it, repost it on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram, wherever you are. Just go ahead and post it so that people can watch along with you. All right. As a matter of fact, why don't we just talk about what our theme is, our motto is? Our motto for the Well is encounter the Well, become the Well, emerge and share the Well. It's synonymous with encounter Jesus, become Jesus, emerge and share Jesus. Encounter love, become love, emerge and share love. Encounter hope, become hope, emerge and share hope. Any acronym you want to put there, you can put it there. And so I'm laughing because you all can't see my co-host, but I know that right. Any synonym, thank you. Any synonym that you want to put in that spot, you can do it. Yo, I promise you, I've had nothing to drink, and I just couldn't make up the right word. Thanks, Brendan, from behind the scenes, man. So listen, go ahead and invite your folks on. We've got some hot topics we're going to talk about tonight, and we want to just share that with you guys. So go ahead, take a moment right now, share this to your friends, your family. It's going to be some major hot topics tonight, and we just want to make sure we invite all the folks in. All right. Other than that, what we do should lead you down the path, and that path is the path of the 5 P's. Everything we do here at the Well, so it should lead you down the path of the 5 P's. What are those 5 P's? Read along with me. They are passion, purpose, promise, peace, and power. Everything we do should lead you down one of those paths. All right, without further ado, I'm going to bring all of them in so you can see all the people laughing at me, and that's our squad. Come on in, squad.
Yo. How we doing, family?
This is a rough start, fellas. We
know. Thirsty Thursday. What can I say?
Oh,
the problem is, I was like, for a second, I thought he was right. I was like, yeah, I think. I was like, wait.
In my head, I'm like, he been Methodist too long. He trying to use acronym for everything now, man.
I don't know what I was doing, man. I don't know what I was doing. Hold on, guys. I am trying to my best. You know, my grandmother always watches, and I'm just trying to make it's on there, grandma. You have to do. Yes, I send it to everybody. All right, so
shout out to grandma.
Hey, grandma.
Yeah. They say, hey, grandma. Hold on, guys. Let me see. No, let me see that phone. I can't do both phones right now, but I can.
Tell grandma her favorite grandson said hello.
Okay, your favorite grandma.
But you can't turn it on till you move out because I'll hear your echo. Okay.
Can't do that.
Yes, I sent it. Just tell her to tap the text message. All right. Sorry, guys. Listen, it's amazing.
Everybody locked in, you know.
Listen, let me say this though. It's a blessing to have a 93-year-old grandmother. Listen, I just need to correct.
Look, she
93-year-old grandmother. Right. Ain't that crazy?
Who know how to use a phone?
Who know how to use a phone? Absolutely. You know what I'm saying?
Yo, this eyelash in my eye is about to kill you. I'm about to go off camera for a second. I don't like, today is a rough start. We're gonna have a great pile. We're gonna have a great episode today because it started out rough.
Yo, let me see. Let me just check and see who's on with us. As a matter of fact, I don't even. Okay, I'm gonna catch up. I promise you, I'm about to catch up to everything that's going on right now, y'all. All right, so as he's doing that, there are some hot topics. Pastor Tay, how you doing, man? Happy Memorial Day weekend that we're about to come up to too. You got plans for Memorial Day weekend?
I'm doing well. I cannot complain. Little man eating his first little bit of hard food, so he eating bananas like it's going out of style. You know, took him to swimming class. He floating like a fish. So like I'm I'm doing well. I can't complain. Can't complain at all. Yeah.
Okay.
And shout out to the first lady. Shout out to Kanita, my wife. She's watching on Instagram. Instagram Live. Everybody who watching on Instagram, what's up? Actually, your mama watching on Instagram.
My mom.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's neat. She doesn't ever usually watch on Instagram, so that's really cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So.
Okay. All right. Let me just focus because for some reason even my phone is acting up right now. All right. Let's start off tonight's conversation with you guys were talking about this infamous beef that was going on, the Kendrick Lamar and Drake beef. I just want to give you guys a couple of minutes. We'll all take a couple of moments just to talk about, listen, we're at a place, and those who are, I know our church family, if you're not really hip hop beef is a thing that has been happening, right, since the inception of hip hop, all right? And Drake and Kendrick were going at it. Some folks say, beef should not be in hip hop no more. Other folks are really happy that beef is back in hip hop because it looked like it disappeared for a second. I just got to ask the question: who won?
You don't really have to ask that question. That's that. Kendrick destroyed him. It was somewhat of a massacre. It was just bad. I mean, it was 5-on-1 and a one dude won. It's like
at this point, it wasn't even.
Yeah.
Like if you go back and listen to Euphoria,
Control.
Nah, not even Control. If you listen to Euphoria, I'm gonna keep it in 2024, and you watch how this thing played out. This was an assassination.
Yeah, in every way, Kendrick won. He won because he did different styles. Drake just came out sounding like Drake. He won because he paid attention to the culture. Drake just ended up sounding like Drake. He won because he went at Drake's soul. He went at like the reason you're a bad father because your father was had to eat. Like he went at the innards of Drake, and then Drake came back with "You hit your wife and you're small." I mean, like in every facet,
but
in which those songs came out, he won in every facet of the game. Every facet. I will say this: Drake had a couple bops. Had he not come out with the "They Not Like Us" in the Euphoria right after he came out with the push-ups, it would have been a different thing. But the fact that he came out with it just like that, it took all the wind out the sail. So
it was the Meet the Grams was the one he dropped 30 minutes after 30 minutes after Family Matters. Yeah. And I think it was interesting to see Drake really have a moment where you present as untouchable, but you got touched.
You got touched, yeah. He was sweating.
That euphoria from like in the watch's tone change from I'm outside, you caught me when I'm outside, I'm in the studio to I'm going on vacation.
Yeah, I'm tired of
like
this.
literally in a week. Literally in a week, he went from I'm in the studio to I'm going on vacation, y'all.
Well, I mean, the thing is, he made so many bad moves. Like even using the Snoop and Pac voice over, I thought that was a bad move. I really did, especially it was, but it just didn't work because.
And we go, oh man, I'm trying not to do the full breakdown right now.
We ain't gonna do it too much. We can move on because
we're gonna talk about it for real. Because like I'm gonna just drop this nugget in here, right? So Drake did the tailor-made joint where he impersonated Pac, Snoop, and was talking to Kendrick, right?
Yeah.
It's crazy how Kendrick usually he used his I'm gonna use my voice. I'm gonna be me and talk to your family's souls. Right. Like, so it's like when you tailor-made was creative,
yeah,
but Meet the Grams was creative
another
and
level.
Disrespectful.
It was a diss, but it wasn't. Like it was like I really feel for you. I'm really concerned, but at the same time, I'm smacking you upside your head.
It was so nasty, and then it's like he did that so many times in this. where it was like, oh, you did that? Okay, I'm gonna do this too, but I'm gonna do it better. Like I'm not gonna, and I mean, and this is my last point on this, and then we're gonna move on. But like, even to think the entire beef, Kendrick was calling like Drake, like you trying to be somebody you not, and to think you used AI voices to be Pac and Snoop to talk to me, but when I talk to you, I'm talking to you as me, and I'm talking to your family as me. It's like, it's crazy when you see the breakdown, and then like when you compare the two songs, it's not really a comparison.
Yeah.
All right.
My last point, I would give Drake so much credit if I didn't think he had ghostwriters. Like,
nah,
and he let everybody
that
instead
don't
of
matter at this point. He lost.
Yeah, he did.
He lost. Ghostwriter, even Kendrick said it. He said, "I like if it's 1v20, it's me versus all your ghostwriters." It's bad. It's nasty work out here. Kendrick was like, "Bring the ghostwriters, bring everything."
I want to say what I want to say, but I'll just move on. We'll talk about it Monday. I got so much I want to do. I can't.
All right, so
oh man.
Yeah, good. Okay, I'm finally back, guys. I think I finally got everything up and running, and everybody tagged and all that good stuff. All right, so let's start with let's move into bleach, blonde, bad built, butch body.
Yes, Miss Jasmine.
It was another B word that was supposed to go at the end of that, but she was in Congress, so I understand.
All right, so listen. Have we lost morals in Congress? Was this a thing of like Congress? Like, are we in a place where people are just acting out wherever they want to act out now? Like, is this a thing now? Like, do we expect that? I mean, because what's the young lady Crockett who said the thing about her eyelashes first? I mean, we haven't. This is not the first time that she's done some ridiculous stuff, right? We've seen her in Congress yell out during the address, right, of the State of the Union address, right? We've seen her act out before, and now she's calling people names. So, is this the standard? Like, have we lost morals and have we lost our moral compass? Because this is coming from like people who a lot of evangelic Christians seem to support, right? So, like, is this the standard? Is this an okay thing?
So, here's what I'll say, and I don't really. People know me. I really don't throw this out there. This is the definition of white privilege. If you didn't know what white privilege is, this is what it is. And I don't play the race card. Y'all know I don't. I don't play the race card. I don't like doing it. Like, I don't like everybody who's a a-hole ain't always racist. Sometimes they just might be an a-hole. This is white privilege. This woman, Margie, what's her last name? Green, yeah.
She's bad built, butch body.
Lit Obama had done something like that. What's the other black congressman? Booker do something like that. Let any African American person of color lash out how she has. How she's followed congressmen to their cars, berating them, giving them insults, all this other stuff, and we act like it's nothing. Right, even the person who lied about being, he lied about his parents being on 9/11. That one senator and a Republican who was Spanish, they got rid of him so quick. But this blue-eyed white lady seems to just be able to stay and say whatever she wants, all type of lies, whatever she wants. And today she found out what happens when you go against somebody who ain't afraid to go back against you, and that's what happened. The crazy thing is, the crazy thing is.
There was a meme with a graph.
Right. The crazy thing is, Crockett asked for those words to be removed, and she said, "Oh, words hurt your feelings." But as soon as it reversed on her, the first thing somebody wants to do is strike those words. Where was all that energy when you was throwing it out?
But now that it's about her back, fake, quote unquote, fake eyelashes.
So like, I'm so over her as she's just I don't want to say bad things about people. But bad people deserve to have bad things said about them. And she's just a bad, terrible person. And I don't wish anything good to happen. I don't wish nothing bad, but she should not be in Congress. She doesn't represent anything I stand for. And if the state she lives in, if she represents those people, that's a terrible state. That's all I want to say.
Ray, to answer your question, bro, we had a whole real live insurrection. This is the least of our worries. Like, if y'all willing to do that, like talking about somebody fake eyelashes in Congress is a low bar compared to like, nah, y'all just not about to vote today because we want the guy we want to win. That's a whole different problem. It's funny because it's like even down here in Tennessee, like, you know, we had the whole case of Justin Pearson and Justin Jones, like basically being kicked out of the state house office because they didn't have decorum.
Right.
And it's like, bro, what is decorum now? Like in real life, what is decorum? Because it wasn't, and even like Tay said, this was a perfect example of white privilege. You get the call talk about somebody can't read or comprehend because of fake eyelashes, and then somebody turns around and calls you a bad built, blonde, bleach blonde,
bad built bush body. The fact that she did it so perfect.
Yo,
like
and shout out to her for using all bees. You feel me?
You know what she really wanted to say.
Right. Listen. Shout out to her for using all bees, and shout out to the culture for knowing exactly what she meant by what she said. Because homie James Comer didn't know, but he was.
Shout out to every producer who mixed that and made that a classic. Every producer who put that on a beat. I've been posting them things like crazy. I love it. I hope that never leaves her. I hope she has to deal with that until she's 80. I hope that never leaves her.
She found out real quick.
What I love about the clapback is this, man. I think that like she, like you said, you know, like she threw something out there. And what I think is crazy is, and I'd love to know where she, because everything right now has been focused on her, but nothing has been focused on Crockett because she's silent. So like this is crazy because to me she threw something out there thinking she was going to make the news like she always does, and she messed with the wrong person, right? And so now like you don't hear anything from her. You know what I'm saying? I mean, bleach blonde, bad built butch body is she's trademarking it in songs. It's like all over the shirt.
It's on T-shirts.
I can't wait for the shirt.
Nah, somebody already got it on T-shirts. I seen them today on IG.
I need to buy it from Crockett because I want her to get. I'm gonna make sure she get all the money. I'm gonna pay that. I'm gonna pay the $45 for the shirt this time. Like I'm gonna like it's crazy. But it's like you were saying, Brendan, like all the problems. This is just one small thing, one minute thing in the whole problem that is government. Especially when it comes to race relations. I believe is it Mississippi where African-American gentleman won his election and they still won't give him the keys to the building. Like the person who was in office prior to him, of course white, said that they held the election beforehand and he won that one and won't give up power. Like that's a real thing because he's a black man. Like the racism that is still intertwined in our government is crazy. And we say things are changing. How is things changing when the representatives who represent our states and our counties have been in office since 1960, 1970? So maybe it's changed to us, but if they still got the same mindset, what's changed? It's just.
I think it's more. I think the biggest change to that point has been like it's in the public now. Like we all know now. That's the change, and now it turns it more on to us. Like, all right, so what we gonna do about this? Like, what's the next steps? And mind you, like for all of the things that folks have to say about the black community, I ain't seen no riots. Because who the black folks wanted to win didn't win. Like I'm not seeing a bunch of ain't nobody storming the Capitol because the black folks came together and the person we wanted to win didn't win. Like that's just not happening. And so it's like as we continue to look at this in totality, let's pay attention to things like that. Like that's not a small point. that's a pretty big point in the fact that, like, listen, like, I mean, Nat Turner is the closest thing we had to January 6th. Like, and I mean, you know how long ago that was for real. Like, right. we don't really have no things like that.
But I will also say, we got to be the change you want to see. And as much as I see black people complain or voice their frustrations, I don't see as many go to the ballots. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing where we've gotten better as a people, as a culture. But that's one thing I feel like if we really use our power to vote and vote correctly and what, actually research what we're voting for. Don't just vote because such and such is a Democrat. Like, actually look at party lines, what people stand for, what we really want, not just president. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But like our district clerks and we could make so much change, but for some reason that skips us. But I don't know why that is.
I think to your point, and so running for mayor really opened my eyes to this. What you're saying is correct, but I think the push is not just voting in the large elections, but voting in the smaller elections, right? Because that's where the bulk of your power comes from, right? You've got to elect your local officials. And I think we get to the local elections and we're like, oh, those don't mean as much. I'm more so concerned about the president. Nah, like if you don't elect the people who are local, you have no power at the higher level, right? Because those are the folks at the local level that are defending you, right, at the higher level. Like, but I don't know, we let that pass as if it doesn't matter. And I think some kind of way we got to educate younger folks on that too, because it's a lot of parents that just don't care. But it's a cycle, right? Like their parents didn't care, they don't care, so their kids are not going to care because they're like, yeah, I got you. And so they don't put it together because they complain, oh, like prices, taxes going up so high, or like I can't believe this. I mean, well, if you knew what was happening in your local offices, right, you might not have to pay as high taxes. Just because federal goes up doesn't mean, right, that state necessarily has to go up. Just because state goes up doesn't necessarily mean that your city has to go up, right? So like, I don't know. I don't know what we do to educate folks, especially younger folk, on local elections, but that's something that I feel like we missed the ball. We missed the ball on.
Definitely.
Yeah, and I think I mean, even beyond that, we get into a place when we believe the hysteria and the just the propaganda and things like that. That like I mean, as much as federal policies do affect us, the local ones affect us more. But like we're not going to see the local ones on the TV stations. It's not going to go viral on social media or anything like that as often as like a federal law or something like that. But it's like those, the hysteria of oh, they the government is doing this and they're making this decision and it's going to make me have to pay more and all this stuff. Is like that absolutely could be true, but also it like you gotta do your research. You gotta look into things and understand what's going on versus really just taking anybody's word for it. Like, part of the reason I don't really talk politics with a lot of folks is because, like, listen, I'm an independent. I voted for Republicans and Democrats. I do my research and I vote for the people that I feel like are going to do best by me and the people I love and care about.
Brendan, do you ever think that we'll see? I'm sorry to cut you off, but just your point. Do you ever hold on real quick? Also, shout out to Aunt Jenny who's in town. Y'all keep on seeing me eat, and it's because I done heated up a piece of her pie, her sweet potato pie. That is just like I couldn't have. So y'all know y'all keep seeing me take these.
This is one of them episodes. All right.
We're gonna have all the bloopers out of this one.
Okay. All right, but no, for real. But listen, Brennan, do you think that we'll ever see a day where we don't vote just because of a party? Because that's huge. I think that that's just a moment I had to focus on what you just said. We are so
Yes.
conditioned to
When we vote for Pedro. Shout out Butterfly. Vote for Pedro. Oh man. I mean, I think not. It's gonna be hard, bro. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be just as hard as getting folks to believe that my denomination ain't the best.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Well-
Is and I mean, part of it is because it's like a lot of politics. As much as there is that separation of church and state, a lot of people have built their politics around their quote unquote religious beliefs. To an extent, because like I don't think on either side anybody can say every decision that they've made in while in public office has been a Christian decision or motivated by God. There's been some wild things on both sides. I mean, if nothing else, we can just look at the whole Israel and Palestine situation right now, and it's like, for real, no matter how you feel about it, like this is a messed up situation. No matter how you feel about Israel, it's a messed up situation to have that many people like running for their lives and having no place to go. Like it's just a messed up situation. And I don't have I'm not anti-Semitic. I don't have any hate towards Israel. At the matter of fact, at the beginning, I was like, you know what, they should go in. Because it was a heinous attack that happened, but like at this point, it's going a little too far, and I might be completely, uninformed about the history around it. But it's like at some point we gotta have a care for just like human life, and, like innocent human life, and it's like to hear stories of. Even the whole like the support of Israel and the unrelenting support of Israel. Like I honestly feel like, and part of the reason why I made the decision not to have a party affiliation was just because it was like on either side, it's like you got to have undying loyalty, and I ain't built like that. Like my thing is, if my homies do wrong. Like I'm gonna be loyal to you in saying that you're doing wrong. That's my type of loyalty. But not everybody sees that as loyal. Some people see that as disloyal or non-support, and so it's like, cool. I'm gonna be my loyal self over here because I'm not gonna go back and forth with a bunch of Democrats about policies that I feel like didn't help the community. I mean, honestly, I can admit I agree with the Democrats a lot more than I do Republicans nowadays, but. Like I'm still not a Democrat. Won't register as Democrat. Like it is what it is. I'm an independent voter, and I make the choices based on, like I said, who I feel is best for myself and my community. And I hold everybody to that standard. It don't matter your party affiliation. It don't matter what God you serve. If it's a Muslim in office and we voted them in office to represent our community, I'm holding you to the standard of what you're doing for the people I love. That's it.
I love that.
Brendan, go ahead.
No, Tay, go ahead.
Oh yeah. To Brendan's point, I was independent until only reason I changed to Democrat is because I think you had to, so I could vote for Obama over Hillary, I believe. So I had to go to Democrat so I could make that vote. But like I kind of feel the same way. Like I voted for Hogan here, who's a Republican. Like I got backlash for that, but like he was great. So nevertheless, but I don't think we'll ever. I think we need one. Like I would love to have an independent, but I don't think we'll ever have one because of money. It's that simple. Like even if you had almost everybody in this country, the majority of this country voting for one independent, like the 1%. The richest, if they had in their mind to vote for somebody else, they got so much money to put behind that hype machine to discredit and to do other things. I think the closest we ever had, I guess you could say, Bernie Sanders. He raised the most money from independent givers. Didn't have any like super PACs, no big backers. All you had was independent givers. He raised the most money of any candidate ever for the president. Just in that that realm, and he still got blown out the water by Hillary. So that's disheartening. You know what I'm saying? Like to say I got all this, but still somebody was just backing and more money can get me out of the race. It's disheartening, and I don't know kind of where you would go from there. It has to be. It just has to be a change of the guard. Like I don't necessarily wish death or anything on anybody, but some kind of way we got to get these senators and we got to get these senators who's been on there. Thank you, my wife. My wife is doing things. She's very beautiful. This is one of those episodes.
That's for like the well after dark. You gotta
right.
Well, yeah. Can't be just dropping that on the regular stream, bro. She doing things. She's beautiful. That's what right. We can't have that right now, bro.
Well, we married, so it's kosher.
I know, but it's a family program, bro. We gotta watch. You know, kids might be watching right now. Nah, you know it's funny though. In real life, I was in my head. I was like, you know what? Independents probably be like J. Cole in the whole beef situation. Like they'll jump out there and then they see what's going on, and they're like, you know what? I'm gonna catch y'all later. I'm not. Y'all going to a place I ain't willing to go.
But I guarantee you, though, Brent, to your point, there's so many more people like you. They just. You know what I mean? They see the BS and they're like, man, bump it. I'm just going to do me. But they don't vote. That's why I truly think voting is the biggest thing. Like even I was on social media. I was on TikTok and I was listening to this rant this one guy had to say. And I was like, everything he said made sense. And then at the end, he was like, that's why I'm not voting. I was like, now you just, all that smart stuff you just said.
The whole video, you just ruined it.
Just ruined because you said you're not going to vote. So what was the point of the video? You know what I'm saying? Like that. We have to be, again, I'll say it, we have to be the change we want to see. Like, we have two candidates for president who I don't buy with neither one of them. Like, I'm just not for neither one of them. But one is, in my opinion, is a lot better than the other. So I have to make that vote. That is my civic duty to vote for who, you know what I mean? Because if I don't, then I have no ground to stand on to complain about something that happens if I didn't try to change it. And I think if we can ever come together, if we can ever get those people who say, you know what, I'm independent and I'm just vibing to really research and actually vote for who they need to vote for. Again, not even at the top, like at the local level, and really get that going. But I don't see that day coming anytime soon. Like it's gradually getting there with the advent of social media and everything is coming out, and you can't hide things from people anymore. I think we're getting to that place, but I don't see it happening in the next 5 to 10 years. I don't.
It's some topics that I know we got to get to, but let me just wait on a little bit. So I think what I agree with both of you. Possibly unpopular opinion right now. This is gonna be really unpopular opinion, and I'm gonna say something that probably gonna give it some slack. But without even saying who I would vote for, which I'm sure most people know that, I would dare to say that Trump probably is one of the people, though, that is finally creating that sort of system of change, because there are a lot of black folks that are going to vote for Trump. There are a lot of black folks that are voting for Trump. A lot of people that are voting for Trump that are unexpected. A lot of folks are breaking from their parents and are like, yeah, I know y'all a Democrat, but I want Trump. I mean, there are a lot of young black folks as well that are like, I want Trump. So what I'm saying is, like, I think we are seeing the change. I don't think it's the change that I don't think it's the way in which people would maybe want it to be or expect it to be, but it definitely has caused folks to shift from their family lineage or their family heritage in voting for Trump. I mean, that's just
you can make that same argument the other way. I know a lot of people who are Republicans who are not voting for Trump. Like, I know a lot of people who were Republicans and Trump just turned them all the way off. I know more people like that than I do black people the other way. Like, I think it's a both end.
It's definitely a both end. And I think it's man, it's interesting to try and figure out. And like even watching the numbers, it's like part of what I feel like we have to realize is that in order to make any change, we have to recognize the limits of the situation we are in. And so it's like
dropping bars a day.
Unless we trying to actually like revolt and cause a civil war, the real only way to make any change in a self-governance democratic republic is to vote. It's like, even if you feel like it's futile, like that's the only way we can make the change for real. Like,
but not only vote,
it ain't
only vote, an informed vote.
Right.
Don't just vote because somebody said something. Like, do your research and then vote for it. You know, I think that's what kills us too, though.
So is that possible to change too, though? Right? Because to Brennan's earlier point, the other part that I was going to say is perhaps if we are in a time when we can no longer be like, well, I don't talk about politics, because then the problem is, and I'm not saying just talk about it, but educate others about it, right? Like, I think there's a part that we do owe to our fellow community and society. Like, I hate talking about this. However, for especially our urban community, you almost have to talk about it in the urban community, because there are a lot of the folks who are like, well, I'm not voting because my vote don't count. Well, nah, like, let's talk about why it counts, and let's talk about the candidates. Let's talk about the policies, and let's talk about, somebody's got to inform somebody, because if not.
But I tell you, that also leans on, how can I say this? That also leans on the upper heads as well. So I'll give you an example. If the Shade Room and TNZ ever decided to do a live debate with candidates, it would be the most watched thing ever. Instead of pitting, I don't know, Jay-Z got a foot cramp or something, whatever they put on a Shade Room, if you would just put some of the key pros and cons of every person running for president or senator or whatever, you know how many people would see. People don't look for politics in our, in the younger generation. I know I didn't coming up. I never like really cared to look at politics, unless it was something major. We don't really look at it, so we really aren't informed. Like we're just not as a body, and that's not even like a black thing. That's just a thing in general. Like the younger generations, like from 20, I would even say up to 40, we really don't pay too much attention to it. But if the social media that we intake, so if Facebook and Instagram and TMZ and Shade Room and all these places we go for our information about whatever the famous people we watch, if they would just took some time out to put anything about the political party, about who's running and how it could benefit, the pros and cons, I think that would change the whole narrative. The problem is it's not the lack of knowledge, it's the fact that we don't want to do the work to get the knowledge to have that informed vote. And then it's like it's hard to even jump on that wagon because we still try to get people just to vote. So not only do you not vote, even when you do vote, you don't know who you're voting for, so you're just picking a name. So that's those things.
Yeah. That's the part. It's like I can't. It's only so much any of us can do to educate somebody else, or to want somebody to help want somebody else want to be educated,
right,
and help somebody else want to like take that extra step and be informed in their voting. Like we can't force people. And so that's where I think for me, I took a step back from, like when I said I don't talk about it much. I don't talk about it to the extent of I'm trying to convince somebody. I'll share my views. But it's like at the end of the day, like I can't convince somebody that, as Martin said, T-Man is just a bad person that you shouldn't vote for. Like it's not. I can't convince you of that at this point. Literally at this point, if you feel like that guy is the best person for this country, you be well. I don't got nothing for you.
I don't.
It's like, and I mean, and I think like part of what's happening, and I think part of what came out of like just even in the whole political spectrum, what Obama did, even when he became president, like we learned a lot from that. Like we learned about the power of the young vote. Because like even in that election, it was so much. Everything else was kind of like, nah, everything's performing pretty much the same. But Obama's killing with the young folks.
Yeah. Now that's what he had. He had a record turnout of young folks.
Yeah,
that's absolutely true.
And so it's like we can see that power when they get motivated. And do I believe that part of that motivation was like, yo, we really got an opportunity to have our first black president? Absolutely.
Yeah,
but I think a large portion of that was also like, yo, we feel like this dude is going to be the best for us. And like in any situation, like we're never going to have the perfect presidential candidate. Like from either side or from whatever party. It's like looking for the perfect person. Like nobody's Jesus. We're not going to have a Jesus run for president.
They probably have problems with him.
I mean,
Listen.
They did.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like he did have problems with Jesus. And he was about the most perfect person you could be. So it's like, I mean, ain't no in any situation, like we can't. I mean, I'm not gonna say we can't, but it's ill-informed of us to look at a person and say because of one thing, I'm not gonna vote for that person, and because of another thing, I'm not gonna vote for that person, and therefore I'm not gonna vote. No, you still gotta vote because, and I mean, a lot of times it is literally taking the lesser of two evils. When I had to vote for Hillary or Trump, it was the lesser of two evils. Like voting Biden and Trump, I'm not even gonna say it was the lesser of two evils. It was just not that guy. I'm just being real. It's like, no, I'm not doing this for 4 more years with this Negro. Like, we got to get him gone. Like, I mean, but in real life, we got to make those choices. And I mean, we do it with everything. We do it with our friends, like who we decide to, call our friends. They're not perfect individuals, but we got more in common than the rest of the world, or we got more things we can connect on than the rest of the world. All right, cool. I'm choosing you to be my friend. That's like, it's not, you're not choosing the president to be your friend, but it's similar in that sense of like, you got to take the good with the bad sometimes, especially in this situation, because again, this is a limitation of our system. Like we have to have a president. So we got to put somebody there. Right. I'm gonna put the person I feel like is best, even if I don't feel like they are the best.
So, Brennan, talking about choices, I want to switch this up a little bit. I think her name is Zaya Wade, right? Dwayne Wade's daughter, who most of us know has made headlines over and over again because her father has, supported her in this transition. Being a young trans person. And so I just saw that Zaya Wade, who is now 16, her and her dad, Dwayne Wade, and I'm guessing probably her mom is a part of this too, but they have started up a foundation that supports families, especially zoned in on African American families who are dealing with young people who are going through identity discovery. I don't know the correct term, but I'm gonna say identity discovery. And so, right, I looked at the comments, and the comments were really about, like this can't become a norm. This is way too young. Right? Let's never make this a normal thing for kids to talk about sex or sexuality. And identity. I think the question I want to ask from this is what's the age that is appropriate to have conversations about sexual identity?
We do it. We do it when they're in the womb. Like we have whole gender reveal parties. Like, what are we talking? These be the moments where it's like, what do you mean? When is it going to be appropriate to talk about it? We planning for it before the baby is out the womb. Now, when they can comprehend, is probably the best answer. When they can comprehend or have, and I mean, it's like. It's absolutely a tricky situation. It's not something that is like ain't no rule book to it. You can't just say at 5 years old your kid should know, because everybody develops differently. Everybody has different life experiences, and this is like for real. This is part of the scary part for me of being a parent. Like you don't get to decide when your child is exposed to some things. Like it just happens and you got to be ready for it, like whatever that happens. So it's like if your 4-year-old come home and it's like, Mom, I'm thinking about transitioning, or Dad, I'm thinking about transitioning. It's like, fam, you got to be ready in that moment to respond appropriately. And so it's like, for me, ain't no age, bro. Ain't no age, ain't no situation. And so something like this to help prepare even a parent to have that conversation, and to be supportive of their child as they figure out like this new subject in their life. Like, yeah, absolutely, we should do that, because like even if the child decides to transition or decides not to transition, like it's still your responsibility to be a parent. Like it doesn't change. God's responsibility to us, he still is our parent, even if we decide to go to hell or we decide to, do right and live right. Like he's still that same person to us. And so like when I look at the relationship there, it's like, no, absolutely. I don't know what to do in that situation. So I would love a program like this. Not saying I would just sign up for it out of the blue, but like, hey, the more resources we can have, and I think especially in our community, where we have been just so misled by misinformation, and had so many times where we could have, if we had better information, we could have made better decisions. It's a dope thing to provide this opportunity for people to get information, to learn about like this process, this even what's going on mentally, what's going on physiologically for the child, or how do I even address this or have this conversation? Like to have something like that, or to have somebody out there that's willing to help people in them situations. Like who am I to say no, or who am I to say that's a horrible thing?
So you scratching your head, man.
Yeah, because I'm trying to figure out how to. So I'm not there. Here's what I would say. I'm not. I'm just so like when we're talking about like the sexuality of a person, that is a very grown up thing to make a decision as a child. And so like if my son was 8 or 10 and came to me and said, "Daddy, I want to wear a dress," I would say absolutely not, because women wear dresses and men don't. That's just what I would say, because that's how I'm raising him to be. As he gets older and he realizes life and he experiences life and life changes his mind, that he feels he's something else, I can't change that. I can't change that. All I can do is raise him the way I know I would want him to be as a person, right? So if he comes to me at 17 and says, "I want to wear a dress," I'm like, well, now we got to have a conversation. Why do you want to wear a dress? Do you feel yada, yada, yada? And then we can have that conversation. But I'm not going to, if someone is under the age of 13 and says, "I feel a certain way," it's like, okay, but I'm not going to allow you to go down the road of changing your stuff. I'm just not, because what happens if you get to 18 and you realize you made a mistake? I got a tattoo on my arm I got at 21. I regret now at 30, at 30. How old am I? 37. And I'm and that was at 21, and I got.
But that's a 50-50 chance in real life, though. Like we don't know.
That's what I'm saying. But as a parent, my goal is to I don't want no 50-50. I want at least 70-30. You know what I'm saying? Like if my goal is to protect you until you can go out and make your own decisions, that's what I'm going to do. but I'm not going to allow you to make that drastic of a change. If you feel like, and then so even in high school, like let's say 9th grade year, they come to say, if my son came to me and said, I think I might be gay, that's a conversation to be had. And that, like, I can't change how you feel. I would have to understand it. We would have that conversation. I can't shun you on that. But if you come to me and say, I want to be a girl now we're going to have a conversation, because that is a change. Not everything can be taken back. You know what I'm saying? Like if you decide to go down that road and do whatever, it's just so many things with that. And I'm just like, I just couldn't. That's where I'm at with it. I don't want to say too much to offend or anything else. But yeah, I just couldn't do that.
I think like so I'm listening to both of you, right? And so I'm really curious about the open dialogue in this, because in my head, I get that, but let's not. So I can't say that. Here's what I don't want to assume. I don't believe that Dwayne just was like, oh, okay, right? Like, okay, we're just gonna
right. Just run out there. I mean, we're gonna schedule it today.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm sure that, because Dwayne talks about that was healthy conversation. Like, he had to work this out, and even himself. Because, I mean, you got a son, and you're like, naturally, you want your son, you have an image in your head of what you want your son to be. And so your son comes to you, like you said, with this information. This is how I'm feeling. This is what I want. Here's what I think I'm very careful about. And Tay, I'm not saying you're saying this. Let me say that too. What I wrestle with is the LGBTQ community, young people, have one of the highest suicide rates in the country, yet the world. And when it comes to that community, especially young people, I get tired of people like, they're very quick to go, oh, it's sin. They're all in sin. They're sin. And then they want to build these classes. Oh, let's build these classes so they can get out of it, yada, yada, yada. The problem I have is, if the suicide numbers aren't going down, then what we're doing and the way we attack this
is wrong.
It's not working. Yeah. Right? Like the opposite of me trying to save your soul can't be you committing suicide. And then we're like, oh, we're doing it right. Right? They didn't deserve it. Like there has to be a level of, all right, like somewhere I'm going to go, all right. And I think Dwayne did a great job on this. I might not understand it, right? But what I don't want to do is knock you down so bad that you go and take your life. It's never worth that. So if I got to deal with you living in this place, I'm gonna live with you living in this place. I'm not about to cut you off. I'm not about to stop you from coming to church. I'm not about to not let you live. Like I just think I think we have to be very careful. In my opinion, I think we have to be very careful not to act like, I don't know. I just think we get outrageous when it comes to stuff. Now, do I think we should just go ahead and sex change? Not
so I think it's even, and so like that's kind of my worry in that moment, like Ray, and not to say that every child is gonna go, and commit suicide, but it's like I want to, for any child or my child that I come in contact with, I want you to feel that you have the ability to come to me and we can have a conversation. Definitely. And I may not agree with you. We may leave that conversation and still be on opposite sides, but I want you to be able to come to me and us have a conversation, because I think part of like what happens and what especially for our community is in a moment where, and especially now in a moment where we've all kind of grown up under this do as I say type of feel, and if in this moment we have this conversation about me wanting to make a transition, or a child wanting to make a transition, and I get shut down, I can still go find that information. And then then as a parent, you have no control over the source of that information and whether that information is valid, appropriate, right, wrong. And we hear about so many cases of like kids who like were molested when they were younger, had you know, like all these horrible abusive situations when they were younger, and then they grow up into adults who like never processed it and end up doing that same thing in a different way, or living out those same traumas in a different way. Actually, I was watching a podcast and they was talking about who was it? Kevin Spacey, the dude, the House of Cards dude, and like how his older brother, like he knew that his older brother was getting abused by their dad, and when his older brother left, one of the things his older brother said was, "I always wonder what happened to Kevin." And then now he's an adult out here in the world, and he got all types of allegations on him right now. But his brother says, "I understand, and some of this may be true because this is what happened with our dad." And so it's like that child that was never helped to process this or able to have a conversation around this now turns into an adult who is pushing this on other adults and other people. And like that's the dangerous cycle that I like in my stance want to stop. I don't like whether I agree with it or not, whether I'm cool with it or not. Like we can't cut off the conversation there just because I'm not comfortable with it. No, this still has to be a dialogue and a conversation, and we still have to be outlets for like accurate, as accurate as possible information and things like that, so that we can help people process through these feelings that, like, listen, we don't understand and they don't understand.
Yeah. I and don't get me wrong, like I'm not saying I would chastise them or say it's sinful or anything like that. I'm saying like if your son's name was Rick and he wants to change his name to Rebecca, it's like, no, you just can't. I would not allow you to do that until you're at a proper age. That's where I'm at with it. Like if you feel like if someone came to me, if my son came to me and said sometimes he feels like he's meant to be a woman, we would have that discussion. I'm still going to love him, and we're going to grow into that to whatever that looks like. But I'm not going to if you tell me that at 12, I'm not going to make your whole life become a woman. I'm not going to flood anything into that. And then once you become of age,
low key, we gotta, and I'm not saying Tay, you doing this, but we gotta stop acting like it can just happen overnight. Like it's a whole process that people have to go through to get to that point. And I'm pretty sure like it could be stopped up until the surgery day. Like once the surgery happens, is kind of like you've made the transition, so to speak, but you still have some things to do after. But it's a lot harder after the surgery. But like pre-surgery, it's a lot of stuff they have to do and go through with psych evals and all types of stuff that they have to do even to get it approved at this point. So it's like it's not as flippant as people like to make it seem on like television media, where folks can just go in the day of and get their surgery done.
Right. Yeah. I just think if I gotta wait to 21 to drink, then I should wait to be able to change my. I just feel like that as a kid. And maybe it's just because when I grew up, I just never had that thought necessarily. I don't know. I don't know. I can't justify how I feel, but I know how I feel. If that makes sense. If I can't give you a real reason, it's just I just don't believe a child can make that decision at that young of an age, and I wouldn't demean them for having that opinion. Like I'm not going to say you can't think that. Like if that's how you feel, I would. I'm the first thing I would say. I'm gonna love you regardless. But I'm not going to do anything to help you to change your name or add breast or anything like that. Now, once you turn 18, you're of legal age, I would never fight that. But while you're in preschool, middle school, high school, I just don't see me doing that. That doesn't mean I'm shunning you.
Tay, I'm on your life. I'm not even gonna hold you, bro. Tay, I'm with you. I'm not saying I'm just gonna like my son or daughter come to me and is like, I'm ready to get, like, I'm not just jumping on that train. Like we're gonna have a lot of conversations, some real conversations about it.
Family counseling.
Go ahead.
I wanted to say that same thing though. Like I'm actually totally with you. I think for me, the big piece, and I think we all agree on this though, is the conversation. I think because there are people that really I don't know, man. And I have to admit this kind of is a point of tension for me sometimes when I have this conversation about people are like, oh, I don't want an adult talking to my kid about sex. I'm so turned off by that conversation, man, because I just
what you think they
I'm
do
like,
when they watch
oh,
TV?
Right.
no, like,
It's adults all day talking to your kids about sex.
Hold on, but let me tell you, you know why? The reason why they don't want people talking to their kids about sex a lot of times, and I hear this so often, is, well, I don't want them pushing an agenda. And I hate that, right? Because I'm like, yo, the way that the school system is set up, it's not about pushing an agenda. It's about education. And if you don't have education, then you are liable to go out here and do whatever the hell you think you can do, right? Because nobody taught you, right? And I hear parents, well, I want to talk to my child. All right, then talk to your child. But
right, do it.
There are, you know what I'm saying? Like, there are a lot of people that don't, right? Like, there are a lot of people that don't. And there are a lot of people that are, here's the point that I think what I love about Dwayne Wade and Zaya. Let's have an educational conversation. And a lot of Black households, unfortunately, we are very ignorant to a lot of this stuff, right? Like, oh, no, that's just them wanting to do this, or that's just them pushing this down our throat. Like, there are different communities out here, a large, vast community.
There's an entire LGBT community of the Black community. like just in case somebody knew, it's probably, I mean, like in church is the laughing joke that it's always the musicians and or the choir leader or whatever. The choir leader. My fault.
It's the deacons, the ushers.
It's like, come on, man, we gotta stop doing this, man. It's just it's unrealistic. Like people live with this and make these decisions on their own accord, or you know, and for some people they feel like it's not a decision. Wherever you fall on it, like, you know, is at the end of the day, like I said last week, man, I got my own stuff to deal with, so I'm gonna mind my business.
And listen, here's the thing. If real quick, Tay, if you ain't got no kid in school, shut up. Like, that's the part, man. Like, you be people arguing about it, and I'll be like, so your kid is where? Oh no, they're grown. Shut up, then. Like, you're not even in the fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
Your kid is probably already ruined. No, I'm joking.
Right. We got a comment on Instagram. Kanika says, this is a tough conversation. At the end of the day, they are individuals as well, and it's okay not to have all the answers, but I will allow my son. Will you now? I will allow my children.
Look, he tried to say the name like it wasn't wifey, like she ain't in the building with him. Kanika said.
Now we gotta have a conversation. He
got surprised now. He got surprised.
You learn something new every day. You learn something new. So all
right. So last thing, because I know we're about all out of time. Y'all, everybody talk, and I probably should have started with this, but I think we can continue this on a different encounter, because I think there's so much more of this particular conversation to go. But let's talk a little bit about Diddy. Love.
Ain't nothing to talk about. That man done for.
Holmes.
It saddens me, bro. Like, y'all, Diddy was my favorite mogul. Like, he was my favorite hip hop mogul.
Mine too.
He was my man's. I had a lot of love for Diddy. I had a lot of love for Diddy, and I still got love for Diddy.
Love for him. Right? Yeah, I still do. But you a nasty man.
Yeah, I can't. That's some bad work, and I can't support. Like, I don't know. It hurt my soul, bro. Because at first I was like, man, there's no way it's that bad. And then you see the videos, like, dang, man. I don't know what to think about. I don't know, but I'll say this.
Go ahead.
He got a camera in every room. It ain't just Diddy. As his parties are well known. He's taking too many pictures with too many people. So I mean, if this is what Diddy is doing and y'all are appalled at it, you got to start looking at some of these other celebrities. Like, I think the times of where celebrities you could do all these things and could get away with is over. I mean, it's just too much with social media. Everybody has a camera.
Just like we
with
said
the
with the
whole
racism, bro. It's too much.
Yeah,
They get exposed too easily.
And then people aren't standing for it no more. You know, there's you know, the Black Lives Matter, Me Too movement. Like, people just aren't standing for the BS no more. And no, money is not going to give you the privilege to do and say and whatever you want anymore. It's just not happening. We as a people are evolving to a place where, you know, we have self-respect. And I think this is just one of many examples that's going to come. I don't think this is going to be, he's not the first and he will not be the last. It's still going to keep happening until things like this happen and people realize money is not going to buy you someone's soul anymore. You know what I mean? So that's how I feel, but I'm sad. It saddens me. I'm really disappointed in my guy.
Oh yeah, same here. Super disappointed. Low key upset.
Right.
And like at the same time, it's like, bro, you brought this on yourself. Especially the current backlash. Because you, like a couple weeks ago, you was talking about time reveals all truths on IG, and then the shade room caught wind of that truth. And like the truth didn't look like how you was making it seem. Like you was an innocent guy. And then
he's gonna get away with it.
The crazy part that to me is like, as much as I even like what we seen, imagine what was happening behind the closed doors.
Right.
Like what happened at the end of that when if you kick a woman that is on the ground curled up
in the hallway.
What's
she doing? The doors closed.
That's what I'm saying, bro. And that's where it's like, no, listen, it'll always be a certain level of love. Like I never want to see a man, period, but especially not a black man go down like this. But that's nasty work, bro. And you got to go somewhere for a while. Yeah. I'm gonna probably stop talking after this for a minute. But the black church is not your savior, bro. Don't do that. Don't try and run to the black church to save you. You need to be with you and God. Like you don't need to. And matter of fact, don't call TD because y'all was already in some funny. Y'all was in some situations where we talking about the power bottoms and all that stuff. Don't go to TD. Like,
you have a big swallow.
Oh my God. But it's like, bro, just for real. If it like he needs to be alone with God and processing, like, and whatever. Yeah, I mean, wherever he and God meet, like, let them meet there. I 100% feel like he should be in jail for that. Because that's crazy. That video is crazy. That video is crazy.
Well, he got off on it. It only cost him $14 million. Because that was in a settlement that he had with her that he paid $14 million for. So it's just like, ain't nothing gonna happen from that. That's why I don't care that it came out.
But that could still be brought up in the federal case he got going.
Yeah.
As president, like, so it's like it's nasty work.
He can't be punished for because it's past the statute of limitations. So he can't.
He can't go to jail for that incident, but it could show like, yo, this is the type of activity that happens when Diddy thinks he's off camera. and that's where it could come back to bite him and still have effect.
I wonder how he got the video, because they say he paid $50,000 for the video. So I wonder how whoever leaked it.
What I heard was that this is hearsay. I heard that the hotel changed management. And so some kind of way when the hotel changed management, the new management discovered the
that's
video.
crazy. You spent $50,000 for a video, and then they changed.
And they got backups
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh, my $50,000 back, cuz.
That's nasty work.
That's nasty work,
bruh. But it's like this is and like on some real. This is where it's like, bro. This is honestly, this is another win for Kendrick in the whole battle, because it's like, you freak boys, bro, y'all got to stay inside, bro. Like, don't be out here in these streets, man. Let the freak boys, like, get the help you need, and like let
like us.
Like nobody should have to deal with this stuff. Like Cassie shouldn't be in this situation. And like on some real, like this is something I'm passionate about, and I don't play about. Like you lose all respect from me if you out here being a freak boy. If you out here just being weird, treating women with just no respect, like kicking a woman on the ground is outrageous
bad,
to me.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's wild.
I mean, like, so I never, I mean, there's just no.
You can't explain that away, bro.
Yeah,
like you was wilding.
Like like to and I think like the deeper part of this for me is right the way that you have induced harm on this person. It's the lack of humanity, right? And so like there's a place where you just go, okay, like to induce that type of harm on someone from a narcissistic place of thinking just does not, and I guess we'll never understand. I do have this one thing that I noticed, and I know we're literally kind of out of time. And I'd love to talk about a different counter, but one of the posts that I watch now, I will say, and I'll bring it up maybe on a different one. I do want to come back to this, maybe even if it's a couple of months from now. But very interesting conversation I saw on a post where it was like, this is where the church messes up. Now, and this is where I'm very iffy about how I feel about these comments. But it was pretty much like, and yet a place where Black church again is saying we offer forgiveness. And in the comments, the folks were like, yeah, like this is where church has effed this all up by trying to say we need to forgive people. We need to forgive. There is no forgiveness for Puffy. There is no forgiveness ever. Like we need to stop that as Black people. We need to stop hiding behind the church. Some things aren't forgivable. We just need to stop forgiving. And those comments were like back to back to back to back. I mean, this was a whole.
I think we probably seen the same post.
Yeah, but I felt I don't like, for me, I don't know that because I wanted to comment, but I knew I don't know. There's a strange place here. I don't condone what Puffy did at all, right? Like that's unrecognizable is a human being, that right? But I'm not a person that would ever say forgiveness is not warranted. Now I don't need to forgive Puffy because Puffy ain't do nothing to me, right? He did something to somebody.
Here's the thing, though. To say you forgive does not mean that does not take away whatever price you have to pay for doing that deed. To say, yeah, I forgive you,
still held accountable.
You still gotta go to jail.
It's still consequences. Like, if I forgive you,
there's still consequences. Yeah, like forgiveness is not the forgiveness of the consequence.
It's
like
not an absolving.
It's a cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? Like I can punch you. You can say you forgive me and punch me back, and you will be justified. Like,
and see, this is like it's a deeper conversation because it's like, if we look at it, one, like in the Bible, it says nothing can separate us from the love of Christ. So it's like nothing we can do can separate us from that love. So forgiveness is always going to be available to us. And Jesus didn't die for forgiveness. He died for salvation. Like, so like we're gonna do wrong things happen, and forgiveness will be given to us. Moses was forgiven. He still didn't make the promised land. Like it's still consequences, even if you get forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't absolve you. Forgiveness doesn't get us into heaven. You feel me? Like it's a different thing. Like, so it's like, yeah, we can all forgive them. Like I'm kind of with Ray on this. Like I don't know much that I need to forgive him for. Will I just accept him back? Like forgiveness doesn't mean we just accept you back either. Like forgiveness can be like, yo, you messed up, you need help. And it's like
the same people who saying that, the same people who saying that got an uncle that you can't list your son around alone. You don't leave your son around for 2 months too long.
He can't stay the night over there.
Get out of here. Yeah, like you want to talk about Diddy? What about the Diddy that's in your family? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about Miss Patrice touching Renee for the last 5-10 years.
I think there is some validity to the point. I think there is some validity to the point, though, that like the Black church has stepped in to save a bunch of Black celebrities who did wrong. And so I think like this is some of the results of it. Like we've stepped in to save some prominent pastors and things like that, and just welcome them right back in without them having the time.
But you know why?
Reconciliation and healing and things like that. And I mean, so this is where I think some of the discord happens, like on all three sides, on all the sides of the coin, however you want to phrase it, because in some situations nobody should. Like you shouldn't just be accepted. Like right now, Diddy shouldn't just be accepted back because we forgive him. Like, no, you got to do some work, bro, before you can be around us and be in communion with us again. Like you got to do some real work. And I'm not the person for you to do that with. I can say that and be real. You know, I have to have the right still to be able to say, like, no, this ain't the community for you. We ain't got nothing against you, but like right here ain't the spot for you.
Facts.
I think what really, because I wasn't sure about any of this because I'm just right. You're not in it, right? And so you're just getting the facts as they come out and things like that. But I think the line for me was the hypocrisy, right, or the audacity of Diddy to put up the things that he put up before the video came out, right? Like it was like
that's what I'm saying.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
bro, it's on yourself.
Yeah.
Like it's an ego in this that gotta go too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he
was love. like
if he here's the thing. Nobody knows what happened behind those closed doors of litigation with him and Cassie and the lawyers, right? I mean, up until now, it could have been, like they got together. We would have never known that Diddy was like, look, I really apologize. I don't want to admit it necessarily to the public because I don't want to lose whatever, but to you, I just need you to, right? He could have done all of that. None of us would have ever really known.
His post didn't say that though.
Well, right, but it's the problem comes in when you post and say my name will be clear, right? Because like,
no, it's not.
In history, I don't know the time we've ever seen like his post that he posted, and then it hit like the way the snapback on his own self was vicious, right? Like the truth is going to come, whatever he said, right? Like everybody will know in time.
Come out in time, yeah.
Snapback a couple of days. It's almost like the universe was like, "You're right." Bam, like. And here
they just waiting for the disc to be over. As soon as that beef was over, they was like, "All right, your turn." What you say? You thought I forgot.
Right.
And that's the part. That's the part of it. That's like in this. At the same time, it's like, and that's why I kind of said, like, yeah, I wouldn't like if Diddy was my homie. Like, nah, fam, you need to go for a while because it's a lot of celebrities that stood with him. Like, nah, we gotta wait until things come out. We gotta. It's ain't nothing clear. We ain't seen any evidence or whatever. Now we got evidence.
Yeah.
We got evidence of him being a weird dude and a foul dude, an abuser. And it's like, nah, you need to go. Cause like you had me standing on business for you. Like you made me feel like, oh, he about to get exonerated. Not necessarily me, but like if I'm your homie, and I'm standing with you, it's like, no, you making these posts, you being braggadocious, you still being Diddy, and I'm like, oh, my guy good. And then I see the Shade Room and Jasmine brand catch this, and it's like, nah, that's not good. Like that's not what we stand on. That's not what you said, bro.
But and me and Ray was talking
I just wanted the two comments. Mont says forgiveness with accountability. And Martin says, "Stop pimping the church to save my career." go ahead, Jay.
Yeah. I mean, I just think the silence is kind of eerie, and I just I think we were talking about it. He got a camera in every room. Whatever was going down, he ain't the only one that's guilty of it. So the question is, once the raid and everything else, once everything comes out, I just wonder how many people are going to be affected other than Diddy, because it's not just Diddy. Like you got to be crazy to think it's just Diddy. He might take the fall for it, but it cannot.
He's gonna take a hit, but it's not just him. There's a lot of folks probably out here, freaky boys, man. We just learned about Drake being a freaky boy, man. You feel me? Like there's a lot of, and this is the part, man. It's something.
You giving teenage girls boy advice. I was like, when I heard that interview,
man, being here in Nashville, it is like, I don't know what it is, but like people, and Ray, this ain't no shot at you, but people feel like musicians get to live in a world that like isn't real life. And I have to remind people all the time, like, yo, like hands work in real life. Like you can really get hands put on you for stuff that you do, and don't nobody care that you a musician.
Right.
Like don't nobody care that you are a celebrity. Like, I mean, we did 2020 to 2022, like we seen a bunch of famous rappers, million records sold and all this stuff get laid in the street. Don't nobody care about the celebrity or how famous you are. You are human. You can, like, there are consequences to your actions, and like we gotta stop. And I mean, even, and it's not just musicians, even for pastors, we gotta stop creating this aura around people that they are something more than human. We are all human at the end of the day, and we all have to have a certain level of respect and love just for other human beings to exist in this world and like allow everybody to live their life.
I think if I can expand what you said, I think it's money. It's I can't even say it's like I think you're right. Like some of that is the entertainers, some of that is
because you right, because it's even athletes. There's a lot of nasty athletes out here.
Like money, and but here's the thing, right? Like money, power creates this level dynamic that's often unfair, but it's just how our system is set up. If I have money, I can probably beat a lot of whatever, charges or whatever mouth, whatever word of mouth is saying that I did. When I have money, I can pay to make it go away, right? And I think that's a dynamic that our system has set up. That I don't know, man. This is a crazy place, because it's like I don't think we're ever able to say that, what does it say? Like he without sin cast the first stone. I'm very clear, because I always like to be transparent with folks, right? Like I'm not gonna get on here and just tell you everything I've done in my life, but I will say, right, like even with my kids, because of this type of stuff, when I say kids, my kids in the daycare, I've always said, listen, Pastor Ray is here to help you guys out, but Pastor Ray is not who you're putting all of your belief and faith in. Do I want you to expect the best from me? Sure, I do. Do I want you to expect me to be perfect? Not at all, right? Because I think we've got to set a level now, especially as people in power, to be like, look, I am a human being. All of my thoughts ain't pure. All of my ways ain't necessarily the purest. I might try to achieve a level of being a good human being, but I come short of that, right? And I think we got to be transparent with that just from the break. I think the problem comes in with these hierarchy people, and these people in power start to present themselves, right, as if, oh, I'm God. But to be fair, I think there's a pressure to present yourself in that light as well. When you're in those lights, you're not supposed to politically say, I do things wrong. I've done things wrong, right? Like if you're a politician running for office, you don't want to admit you did something wrong, right? You want, like, I need to deny so that you believe in me. And I think we've got to some kind of way start building this culture where it's okay to admit that I'm not perfect, right? I don't know how we get there or what road that looks like, but I just think we got to start making that more of a normalcy to be able to say, I'm not perfect. There are some things I don't want you to know about me. However, like, I don't know, put your trust in God. Now, at the same time, I don't think you should be behind the scenes doing the most nastiest stuff in the world either, right? I don't think that gives you an excuse to go beat somebody down who's half your age, half your size either, right? Like, there's accountability, right, to that. And I think that's just punk type stuff. But I just think there's a balance there that I just want to be very clear about too.
Fair.
Okay. Well,
great
listen,
episode, fellas. Listen, we pulled through. It started out rough, but we got to some good topics and we had a good episode.
Yeah, man. What a great encounter. Some good stuff. Listen, guys, we're about, we're on break. We do the second, third, and fourth Thursdays. So technically we have 2 Thursdays. We won't be with you all, but listen, the well is expanding. We have so many great ideas that are about to start unfolding. Some of our partners are about to start playing a good part in what we're doing. And I'm just sharing again that the journey of the well, we're really on a journey. God is really, 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 really pulling us into a lot of different areas, a lot of different ways. There's a lot of talk about behind the scenes on how we can really expand what we're doing. If you want to partner with us, that's a big thing. We really could use your partnership. And partnership is in a lot of different ways. Look, you can DM us. I just talked to Tiffany. I don't know if she's on with us on YouTube, but I talked to Tiffany today. It was great talking to her. She's been watching and interacting with us over the last couple of weeks. I think that there's some stuff that she's going to really want to be a part of. She loves it. Mont, who I know has been really on with us. He's on with us now. Shout out to you. Man, there's just a lot of folks that are wanting to be a part of the community. If you want to be a part of the community, DM us, right? It really don't take nothing but you hopping on and interacting with us on a Thursday starting. But DM us, let us know how you like to participate, what your vision is. Maybe we could partner with you in your vision, and that will help us to expand our vision, right? Because the well is you. It takes money. Look, we're not the church. We are the unchurched church. We're not the type of church that's going to be pimping you for your money, but it does take money to keep things flowing. So if you want to give us 5 cents, it's okay. We will take whatever God puts in your heart to share with us. But you can do that at our website, encounterthewell.org/give. Or if you have a cell phone, you can text the word give or any dollar amount to the number 84321, and we will receive that, and we will be responsible stewards over that. Other than that, follow us on all our stuff. If you're just joining in, you watch. Don't forget to share this on your Facebook page. Share the YouTube link. The Instagram will probably disappear, but share it on Instagram. Do your YouTube links and Facebook links to DM somebody. Hey, say you should check this out, and let us know how we can partner with you in the future. All right. We are so happy that you all are part of us, squad. We love you guys. There's nothing y'all can do about it. Tay, Brennan, any last words? All right.
Monday.
All right. Well,
Freaky boys, y'all stay inside, man. Cause it ain't no work out here for y'all, man.
Run for your life.
Run for your life.
What you gonna do? All right, listen.
He's a fan.
We love you guys. And look forward to our Tapping Tuesdays, our quote of the weeks, and Brendan's going to start doing this reaction to hilarious reaction videos. All that stuff's coming.
Nasty Work Fridays.
That's what. There we go. That's the name. Nasty Work Fridays for the church folks. Nasty Work Fridays. If your church make it on Nasty Work Friday, it's not a good thing.
Until next time, guys. Love you guys, and there's nothing you can do about it. Peace.
Take care.